Hello everyone, Merry Christmas. So today I'm finally going to do my long-awaited review of the movie Catching Fire. I did a non-spoiler one about a week ago, and I wanted to do a spoiler one. No, not a week ago, like less than a week ago. And I wanted to do a spoiler-filled one today. So here is my in-depth spoiler-happy review of Catching Fire. Now what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to recount the plot for you. I'm just going to assume you've seen the movie, you know what the plot is, or you've read the book, because if you read the book you'll know the plot of the movie basically. And I'm just going to go in and talk about stuff that I liked, stuff that I didn't like about the movie. So this will be a pretty heavily weighted scale on the side of things I did like, because in terms of stuff I liked, stuff I didn't like, it was, whoop, like that. But anyway, let's get started. Let's get started with the acting, which I think was one of the best things in this movie. Everybody gave a great performance. I mean, every single person gave a grade A performance. Jennifer Lawrence was fantastic as Katniss. Her emotions, the way she gets across what Katniss is thinking and feeling, and that's no easy task, because in the book, you are inside Katniss's mind for the entire book. You know what she's thinking, you know what she's feeling, because she tells you. In this movie, she can't tell you. She can very rarely tell you anything, because she does not break the fourth wall. So everything has to rest on on either the story or Jennifer Lawrence's performance, and she does a great job of getting that across. The way she looks, the way she talks, the way everything was great. Even just in the elevator scene was fantastic. Just the look on her face was just priceless. I'll get to that in a second. But anyway, she was great. Everybody from the previous film, it's like they said, we're going to give an even better performance. Now, I don't know if this new director, if he's like a better with his actors, better with whatever, if everyone just said we're going to give an even better performance because this is a bigger movie, this is a bigger story, the stakes are higher in a sense. I'll get to that too. But anyway, everybody, the guy who plays Haymitch was still fun, was less, and compared to the book, I actually, from Catching Fire onward, I always found him to be kind of a jerk, especially in Mockingjay. A little less so in Catching Fire, but still. Here he was less so, and he was still likable. Peeta is likable. His actor does a great job. Gale's actor, who gets more lines and more dialogue and a lot more to do, is better. Effie Trinket, I was amazed. She really came out as instead of being annoying and sort of a nuisance like she was, she actually comes, at least I felt she was in the book. She was okay. But she actually comes out as a real, maybe not entirely sympathetic, but just a character that you grow to like, and it's almost as if she really cares about these kids, and she really understands that when these people that she likes are probably not going to make it, I mean really, really not going to make it this time, she really understands that this is not a game anymore, that this is actually serious real life, and it's not something she can deal with quite well. I love the scene during the reaping when you can see her face. I mean, unlike in the first movie where she's very upbeat and happy, in this she's just devastated, and it really shows, and it's great. Let me see. Cinna had very little to do, but what little he did do, he was really great. You really got the sense that he also cares about Katniss and what happens to her. President Snow, really good, conniving, trying to hold on to power. Sutherland, I loved his performance in the first one. It was even better now. That's the returning actors. These are returning actors. The new actors were great. As I've said, with the previous film, it really felt like the characters jumped out of the page. Actually, I watched the movie before I saw the book, but when I read the book and saw the movie again, I really felt like the characters had left out of the page and become real. Now, I felt that even more in this book. Plutarch Heavensbee, he was great. I'm a little disappointed they didn't put the clock scene in, and I'm going to get more into things that were changed that I didn't like, but this is one of the few things that happened that I didn't like. This is one of the few things I didn't like about the movie, and this is like one of maybe two or three things, and they're very minor, but I think this was one of the bigger ones. The clock scene, the watch scene, I think is very important to show that not only is he on Katniss's side, but what the environment is going to be like. And that's how she guesses it. That's how they guess it a little during the games. Now, they managed to do that anyway, but I liked the scene. It's a very effective one, and I wish they had had time to put it in, but I guess they didn't. Maybe it's a deleted scene. I don't know. Guess we gotta go buy the DVD. So yeah, he was great in his role. He was very effective. Finnick Odair, the guy who played him, really got the character across. Really got, he's a cool guy, but he's really good at what he does. He's friendly. Mags, I actually liked her. She was one of my favorites. Really, Now, there's one thing she changed. I believe, I haven't read the book in a while, but I believe she wasn't mute in the book. I believe she was just unintelligible. I forget. I think it's because she didn't have any teeth and her accent was too strong, and so Katniss couldn't understand her, but Finnick could. But here it's different. Here she's a mute, but she really got everything. She was a great actress. She got everything across that she was trying to do without saying a word, with just pantomiming, and that was very effective. I loved how she did that. The career tributes like Enobaria and company, they came across very well. The ones from District 1 were were a little flighty, but they were strong. They were good at what they did. The ones from District 2 were very vicious and ruthless. The guy from, I think it's from 11 or whatever, who kisses Katniss, he was only in there for a second, but he was good. He was good at what he did. Just a good old boy who was friends with Haymitch. Johanna. What else can I say besides Johanna was the shit? I mean, the actress was just fantastic at her. She just had this great, I don't give a damn attitude. I'd forgotten that Johanna had lost all her family. I had actually thought it was something changed from the book, but then I remember, yeah, she lost the people that she loved. Pretty much everyone has. Everyone who's participated in the games has had the Capitol kind of try to control them and take away the people that they loved. And, yeah, that's addressed here. Somebody, I think said, I don't know this person, but I just saw it. It said that Johanna is sort of like Katniss without being held back. She's got nothing to lose, so she can just kind of say whatever she wants. I'm not quite so sure, but maybe that is kind of what it is. Anyway, the actress was really great, and yeah, the elevator scene was funny. I'm surprised they did it. I thought it would get cut out because of it, but they managed to position the camera in such a way that you didn't see anything, and they kept their PG. What was it, like PG-13? I can't remember. But they kept their rating. Anyway, it wasn't just that. She was a really great actress, and while in the book she does carry 2 axes, but not 1. But it was still very good. And I'll get to more on her in a minute. Beetee and Wiress, very, very good. They came across as being very smart, very intelligent, very good at what they did. I will get to Beetee again in a minute, because one of my favorite scenes was near the end. I actually think they did I didn't really care quite as much for the very end of the book, Catching Fire, but I liked the end of this movie. Both were a little confusing, but I think the movie managed to do it a lot better. And there's something in this movie that is better if you have not seen it. If you've read the book, you have not seen it. I'll tell you when I'm going to talk about that, because if you have read the book, and you're watching this anyway, I don't know why, but if you have read the book, I'll tell you to go away for a little bit. So that was actors and actresses, all fantastic. Story-wise, like I said, it does follow the book, more or less. It changes some things. They're usually very minor, but they're effective enough. The Victory Tour is... The lead-up to the Victory Tour isn't as long. Actually, when they go into District 11, I like this. The Peacekeepers, because you remember in the movie they changed it a little bit. The rioting in 11 started earlier. It actually started right after Rue died. And then there was rioting. And in this movie, the Peacekeepers are still there. They're in the fields. They have to be... Katniss and Peeta have to be transported by the Peacekeepers. The old man does get shot, as in the previous one, and Ruth's siblings do show up. You see them kind of in a little brood there. But I liked, yeah, we do get to see several of the districts. We get to spend a little bit more time on the Victory Tour. It balances out. It sort of, we get a lot of great scenes during the Victory Tour. My two favorites were when the little girl is talking to Katniss and she says, "When I grow up, I'm going to volunteer just like you." And again, Jennifer Lawrence, great acting. You can just see the horror on her face that, you know, people are admiring her and people look up to her as a symbol. And so does President Snow's daughter. You get that once or twice. I mean, not daughter, granddaughter. And you know, people are admiring her for different reasons because she's a hero and she's a symbol to them of resistance. And she doesn't really understand it entirely, but it's a really great scene to show that and to show how kids can be sort of brainwashed by people they see on TV and want to emulate. If you understand, yeah. Maybe I'm reading too much into it, but that's what I felt it was. I also liked the scene where Katniss says, "Panem today, Panem tomorrow, Panem forever." That's not in the book, but I liked that line, and I liked how hollow she was when she said it. And everybody says, "Is that what you really believe?" And then there's sort of a riot there. Not a lot of time is spent on. The trailer gave us the indication that a lot of time would be spent showing the revolution, showing rioting revolution. Very little time is spent on that. There's actually no kind of rioting or anything in District 12. There's only Gale standing up to the Peacekeepers. There is shown on the video screen to be some rioting in some districts, but it's very brief. The scene where Katniss meets with the two people from 8 does not take place. Maybe it's a deleted scene, I don't know. It is a very long scene, and it is kind of a detour in the book. It's effective, but I think the way they changed it was good. I was expecting more, but what they did was very effective. Katniss's PTSD it's a big deal. It's not quite as big a deal, but it's shown, like, with her seeing people that she killed while she's trying to hunt. Her sleeping problems are still there. It's all there. Katniss talking with Peeta on the train I don't think was in the book, and I really like that scene. It's sort of a connection between them. There are minor scenes throughout that between them, between Katniss and Gale, that are either changed, like dialogue-wise, or slightly placed a little differently than they are in the book, but they all seem better in this. Everything that was transcribed from the book or just changed very minorly, it all seemed better. It all seemed like it was more effective to telling the story. As I said, I like Catching Fire, the book. I don't like it as much as Hunger Games, the book, but I like this movie more, and this is one of the few times I like the movie more, because I think in film, the story gets across a lot better with a lot fewer words. Somehow show, don't tell really works for this book, and that's amazing because this book is all about Katniss thinking and talking, and yeah, the games aren't till the last third. The games here are are the second half. They take up a little more time, but not too much. There's a lot beforehand. There's a lot of, there's some life in District 12, which some people wanted more of. I've talked to people. They said, we wanted more to see more life in District 12. There is some of that. There's just how Katniss and Peeta are getting along, how Katniss and Gale, etc., etc. There's more of that stuff. The love triangle is done a lot better in this one. It feels, sometimes it's a little weird because Katniss keeps kissing people. There's a lot of kissing in this movie. Even more than Pirates of the Caribbean 3. Wow. Never thought I'd say that. But anyway, there's a lot of, love triangle. There is love triangle stuff, but I feel like it's done better. It's communicated better. It seems less mean-spirited or something. I don't know, but it's done better in this. Something I had a problem with besides Plutarch's little scene. Plutarch and Snow have this big thing about, we're going to make Katniss as someone to sit Katniss into a Kardashian. We're going to make everyone hate her. We're going to make her the reason why District 12 and other people are suffering. We're going to crack down on everyone. I feel like they had more scenes for that, or maybe something more for that, but they didn't put them in. And it didn't quite work out the way it was, and then it kind of got dropped. And I was disappointed in that. I would have liked to see more of that, and it doesn't seem like it affected people too much, other than Gale, maybe. but it did more or less. Doing the marriage thing was very good. They actually say in the middle of the victory tour, or kind of near the end, that they're going to get married, and that's different from what they were doing. Then they don't go into that big thing about, oh, we toasted the bread and we ate it, blah blah blah. He just said we got married in secret. That's fine. I like that. That was good. That was really that was very effective. Did the tributes hold hands in the book? Because I don't remember that, but that was also a very effective thing that they did. Some things went very fast. I feel like the intro went very fast. They told us a lot of stuff. They pushed a lot of information to us. Snow visited. All this stuff was happening, and it happened very quickly. But I feel, excuse me, my plug came out. My plug. I feel like, but it came across, and while I did think it was a little too fast, I liked it. It got everything across, and then they slowed down and really got into everything. But the opening was very fast. They got a lot of information to us very quickly. I feel like there was some stuff cut for Prim, but that was my feeling in Catching Fire. Like, she seems to have kind of gone from, for lack of a better word, sort of a Mary Sue, whom Katniss was fighting to protect, and who had to protect all the time, into sort of a stronger person who's actually giving Katniss advice. That wasn't really explained. You can assume it's because of everything that's happened, but I don't think it's explained quite as well, and I hope there's some explanation in Mockingjay. I hope there is. What else? I liked it. Here's something I didn't like and I did like. I liked it that Peeta he actually says, I've got people, when Katniss is talking to them, he says, I've got people I care about, Katniss. I'm trying to protect them. Like, he actually cares about his family. Later on, he says, I don't have anyone I care about. That's a contradiction. And I actually liked it that he had people, he cared about his family, he cared about what happened to them. He wasn't just, I'll risk everything to protect you because I don't have anyone I care about. But then they changed it, whatever. Finally, I didn't like that they kept in the whole Katniss kind of gives up and just wants to protect Peeta, because she's such a bitch. And yeah, there's sort of a lot of Katniss lashing near the end of the movie and the book. More so in the book, though. But I didn't really care much for that. The drinking scene, thankfully it was shortened, and I like that they all had reactions to the games being brought back. You know, Haymitch got really mad, Peeta got depressed, Katniss walked out. I liked it better, but I still didn't like the drinking scene very much in the book. I didn't like it much in the movie, and I didn't like it that Katniss was all, I'll do anything to protect Peeta. Yeah, obviously Haymitch was not truthful with her. He was really trying to protect her because she was the real symbol. Also, Haymitch has some of the best lines here. My favorite one was, you're supposed to be a distraction so that people don't pay attention to the problems that are going on outside. And I thought that was just a real big testament to what the media and what TV does to us these days. They're supposed to be a distraction. Even news media supposed to be a distraction so that we don't pay attention to the problems that are actually going on. Whew. The games. Again, fast at parts. I thought Mags died a little too quickly. Other than that, really well transcribed, really effective, lots of good action. Lots of again, it's a very cool environment. I loved how they did it, and I loved how they disabled it. Now let me get to this. So near the end, we have the tributes. We have Finnick, Johanna, Beetee, Katniss, and Peeta. They formed an alliance. They are, and Beetee has made a deal with them. He says if they protect him, he will use the thunder strikes at the tree and use an electric coil to bring it near the water and electrocute the career tributes who he's hoping will come out and head towards the beach now that Katniss and company have headed inland. Now, yeah, this is a very smart idea. Now, Peeta and Katniss want to split up from the rest of the group because they know they'll have to kill them eventually and they don't want to be with them anymore. But Beetee, through decisions, manages to get them to split up. And Katniss goes with Johanna to carry the cord, and Finnick and Peeta stay behind with Beetee. Now, the thing about this is, there's a lot of suspicion. Beetee's like, is there a problem? And if you hadn't read the book, you think is he and maybe Finnick and Johanna trying to betray them? Because if you hadn't read the book, you really get a sense of, are these people trying to betray them? Are they really friends? And when they head deeper into the woods, and Johanna, it looks like she's attacking Katniss and then cuts the tracker out of her arm and smears blood over her neck, and then Finnick comes running back. You really get the feeling, even if you have read the book, you get the feeling, have they been betrayed? What's gone on here? And I really liked that. That was really cool. The end of the book was kind of confusing, so I didn't really get that feeling in the book, but I got it in the movie, and that was great. That was just fantastic. Finally, yeah, the ending of the movie was a little confusing. I was like, what happened to Peeta, and what happened to Beetee, and why is he knocked out, and what's that? But at least she shoots the top, it blows up, and then it ends. I'm sad they didn't show District 12 getting destroyed. I would have liked to have seen that. But they only said it, and that was what I was disappointed in. But it was okay. The movie ends on a cliffhanger. Very cool. Now, the franchise must face a hurdle that many movies have failed to face. Pirates of the Caribbean is a very obvious one. Shrek, Spider-Man. You see where I'm going with this? People make a first movie, it's very good, it's very creative, it's very cool. They make a second movie, it's even better, it's fantastic. Christopher Nolan's Batman series, very good one. Third movie, ugh. Sometimes terrible, like Spider-Man 3. Sometimes just annoying, like Shrek 3. Other times a mess, like Pirates of the Caribbean 3. And other times in need of more scenes, like Batman 3. My gosh. I've got to get to that one someday. Someday. Anyway, they've got a big hurdle, but I'm confident. Not too confident, but confident. And I hope they can overcome it. One last thing. The end credit music, I didn't get the end credit animation. What was the point of that? That was just showing off. That was stupid. But I like the end credit music in the first one better. I thought it fit, even though really hadn't. If you listen to the lyrics, Abraham's daughter really has nothing to do with the Hunger Games. Anyway, great movie. I can't wait for the next one.